We think that once we get the money, that's when we'll change. Can you hear me? Is that we think once we have the money in our hands, in our bank account, then that's only when our mindset will change. That's only when we become more grateful. That's only when we finally feel contentment. But no.
What's up guys, it's Nick. As you know, I'm a recovered shopaholic, now a money mindset coach, empowering working professionals to fund their dreams into reality. And today's video is a part 2 of the money lessons I learned before turning 27, because there's just so many things to unpack in my 27 years of existence, both the mistakes and the costly things that I've learned in the process. So I had to continue in a second video. So if you haven't watched the previous one, then make sure you watch that one first and then continue watching this one. Today we're continuing with 3 more money lessons I learned that allowed me to build my 1 million net worth today, fund my dreams, pursue my dream to be a full-time entrepreneur and content creator today, so that I'm passing on those lessons to you so you could learn from them too. So if you're all about that, then make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, because I do have a new video every single week. Now let's get into those lessons. By the way, by the time that you're watching this video, I have most likely already celebrated my solo beach trip for my birthday to Palawan, and I'm gonna share some fun pictures over here. And it's because I am going to make a future video about how I was able to fund that trip on my own, because I want you to stay tuned to a future video where I'm gonna talk about how I funded this beach trip that I've always wanted. So make sure you ring the notification bell for my future video on how you can also fund your future travels that you've always wanted in a way that you have a financial safety net and you also get to enjoy guilt-free. Since I've shared the first 4 money lessons in my previous video, this is a continuation of the 5th money lesson I learned, which is what you believe to be true is what you see in the world. Just let that sink in for a bit. It's basically that we have these goggles of what we choose to see in our world based on what we grew up with, based on our conditioning in our childhood, based on the experiences that we had, based on the lessons that we've learned, and we choose to see like, okay, this is what's only possible for me. For instance, I had this limiting belief before that because I had terrible grades in math, like in high school, literally, if I had 75 in my report card, masaya na ako nun kasi pasang-awa ako. At least hindi ako failure, which is 74 and below. I would already celebrate at 75 because I felt like sobrang nag-effort na ako to pass my exams. I always studied twice as hard for algebra, for all the math subjects I dealt with, so that I know that I'd have a better grade in college because natuto na ako in high school. And so that also translated to how I saw money. You know, I thought that, oh, I need to work twice as hard to be good at math when I was in college because I failed in high school. So I also have to work twice as hard and consume more time and make it so hard for me in order to be good at money as well. Because in my head, I was like, I wouldn't be good at money if I don't spend more time, if I don't complicate it, if I don't make things more technical, because that's how I correlated it. Like, if I need to work twice as hard to pass math subjects, I need to also work twice as hard to understand how to handle my money better. And that is literally the prime example of this lesson, is what I believe to be true is what I chose to see in the world. So I had to challenge this limiting belief that I had, that if I wasn't good at math growing up, that I wouldn't also be good at handling money. I would intentionally let other people like count the change for me. Like, okay, if it's 500 minus the gastos is, 189, like what would be the change? Because I'm bad at math, can you compute it for me? That was unconsciously telling my brain that you're not good at math, so you won't be good at money. So I had to challenge this belief, and that really created the outcome of me allowing myself to stick to a simple financial system that I now coach my clients on, even if you're not good at math, even if you find it hard to deal with numbers, because I was in that place too. And this is how powerful this lesson was sometimes the things that we believe, it's not a fact. Most of the time, it's not a fact. It's a made up thought, because we chose to believe something based on our own experiences. We attach meaning to something that turns into a fact. This is essentially the lesson of how your thoughts and your beliefs, they become your reality unless you take control of them. Imagine if I constantly believe that I'll just never be good at money because I suck at math. Imagine if I constantly believe that about myself. I don't think I'd be where I am today. I don't think I'd be able to create this path that allowed me to handle my finances simpler and also coach others to do it in the same way. Because most of the time, the biggest roadblock that's literally right in front of us, that's preventing us from making our dreams happen, from funding our dreams, from saving consistently, from spending our money in the way that will allow us to fast track our dreams, the biggest roadblock is right here. It's our mind. It's our mind telling us that you failed at that before. What makes you think you're gonna do better next time? You already spent on the wrong things before. What makes you think you are gonna be able to break that cycle? Your parents grew up not knowing about money. They never taught you about money. What makes you think you're gonna do anything better? That's what I notice that are subconsciously affecting our actions. Because think about it. If you think of those same things that are very toxic and very negative, you talk to yourself in a very negative and degrading way, you think you're gonna be motivated to look at your expenses? You think you're gonna be excited to save up that amount? Do you think you're gonna be consistent in sticking to the right money habits? No, right? Think about it. That's why I'm so passionate about looking into your mindset around money, the beliefs, the thoughts that you have around money, because that unconsciously dictates what your actions and decisions are around money. So what I learned in my coaching training is that this is so mind-blowing. This is literally science, you guys. That we usually take in 2 million bits of information around us based on what we hear, what we see, what we feel, what we taste, based on the 5 senses that we have. 2 million bits of information, but only at least 126 of it is consciously taken in. Like, you're only aware of 126 bits of information. Imagine from 2 million, it becomes 126. So you might be curious, like, so Nick, what happens to the rest? What happens is we either delete, distort, or generalize the rest of the information. For instance, delete. There are parts of our memories, there are parts of our past that our subconscious mind deletes to protect us, to preserve our energy. So for instance, if you had a troubled childhood, if you had a troubled past in high school, maybe, there are people who wronged you, or in college or things like that, there are things that you put aside your emotions from that negative past, from the negative emotions that you experienced in the past. So your mind just deletes that information, like that never happened, until there's a trigger that allows you to remember that past. For instance, when I coach my clients and for some reason they feel like, oh, I'm not good enough to pursue my dreams, oh, I'm not good enough to start that business. And usually that statement of not being good enough, that is stemmed from a troubled past. Like, someone else told you that and you just chose to delete that. And so what happens is that you just generalize that, oh yeah, I'm just not good enough because my relative told me, like, I'm not gonna amount to anything. Or like, maybe my parents didn't really believe in me, growing up with pursuing my dreams. They always thought that doing this course is going nowhere, so they told me to get this course instead. So like, this is literally science, that there's so many information that we try to take in our minds, so we have to delete, distort, and generalize a lot of them, so that we become consciously aware of only 126 bits of information. That's why I tell you in this lesson is what you believe to be true is what you see in the world. It's literally just your perception of your mind based on how you are able to delete, distort, generalize information based on what? Based on your experiences growing up, based on the memories that you grew up with, based on the values that were ingrained upon you, based on the lessons that your parents have told you to follow, based on the rules that society in this Filipino culture told you to follow. That's why, think about it, right? The concept of utang na loob in our country, it's not the same in other countries, right? But they all have families, they all have, parents who care for them, parents who take care of them. But it's only in our Filipino culture that there is this utang na loob mentality of Filipinos that sometimes I see like it gets twisted into like, oh, I always have to give everything to my parents. I always have to give everything to my family, and I am last. And that means I'm a good daughter. That means that I have served my parents well. But what if there could be a balance? And this is what I love coaching my clients on, is that they realize that helping my family, maybe being a breadwinner as well, it doesn't have to consume my life. I can also be that, provide for my family, take care of the people around me, whether you're a single mom, whether you're someone who helps your parents in your day-to-day life. You get to do that while funding your own dreams at the same time. At the same time. And this is what this lesson is for, is to let you know that the beliefs that you have, you can change them, you can shift them in such a way that you can benefit from them and not cripple you and not paralyze you in not being able to make your dreams happen. If you see how amazing my clients are for being able to overcome this, you are gonna be so freaking mind blown that they have changed their beliefs into like, now, because they started to prioritize in investing in themselves, investing in their dreams. Guess what? They were able to realize that, oh, I could actually get promoted and therefore help more and give more to my family. Oh, I was able to invest in the skills that I wanted to improve in my career. Oh, guess what? Then I could increase my value. Then I could also spend more time with the people I care about. Then I could allocate. Then I could feel good about treating my family, feel good about, enjoying our time together, because I know that I filled my own cup first. As always, if you're curious to learn more about how I exactly coach my clients through this in my step-by-step module, where I get to tailor fit and personalize my coaching to them based on their own needs, based on their own situation, goals, income, and all of that, then you can always check my website below on my one-on-one coaching program, Fund Your Freedom, and check if this is exactly what you need right now to decide that if I want to be that role model for my family, if I want to start new beliefs, a generation who knows that they can be financially independent. Because most of the time, it starts here. It's not about the current income that you have. It's not about the money that you give. It starts in here, in reframing the beliefs that you grew up with so that you can break the cycle for good.
6th money lesson that I learned before turning 27 is how you handle your money mirrors how you handle life decisions. The misconception is that handling money, handling our finances, is just one bucket in our life that is separate from how we handle other decisions in our life, but that could not be further from the truth, because it's not a separate bucket. It's a manifestation of also how we handle other decisions in our life. For example, I remember when I was like impulsively purchasing, when I was impulsive about giving into sale, when I was constantly consumed about what next skincare item or workout clothing item I'm gonna buy, when I was so impulsive about that and just constantly look forward to that every day, I realized I was also impulsive in reacting in stressful situations, that I would be so moody, I would be so cranky when I would talk to the people around me. I would impulsively react as well. Or with the clients that I coach, they realize when they're impulsive in buying things, they've also become impulsive in investing into the wrong things. They also invest blindly. May it be like, oh, kailangan ko muna ng insurance habang bata ka pa. Or kailangan you already have a car, so you need to already start getting that car loan. Or maybe you should keep buying more courses so that you could validate yourself, and you keep buying them, but then you don't end up maximizing that course. So if you are impulsive about the one thing, I bet you're also impulsive about other things in your life. That's how it was for me, and that's also how my clients saw it. Because on the flip side, when they realize that when they become more mindful about their purchases, when they become more intentional, more purposeful in how they spend and save their money, they realize that also transcended in, wait a minute, if I'm mindful about how I spend, I also need to be mindful about how I spend my time at work. How do I set boundaries? In the same way that I set boundaries about the right things to spend, how do I also set boundaries in my workload? How do I make sure that I have In the same way that I create balance in how I spend and how I save, how do I also create a balance in my work and personal life? How do I also create a balance in taking care of my health? And also, how do I create the balance of taking care of my well-being, prioritizing my health? So when I felt lost in my life, when I didn't know where my life was going, that's also how I spent like. I spent like, di bale na. I also just kept spending whatever because I didn't know where life was going, so might as well enjoy the now. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but might as well spend what I have now. And that's what also my clients realize is that when I didn't know where my life was going, when I didn't know what the hell my goals are, when I didn't know what my vision was, what my destination was, what the point of my everyday life is, that's also where my money went. Nowhere. Look at how you handle money, how you perceive money, and think about how that's also a clear reflection, a manifestation of how you look at life, how you handle life decisions. That's why I really believe that when you get to master your mindset, your habits, your beliefs around money, you get to also be a master of your life. Because whether we like it or not, we need to spend right, we need to save right in order to make our dreams happen. Like in the same way, I wouldn't have been able to quit my job and pursue my business full-time as a coach if I didn't have the right habits in place, because I needed to have enough funds to serve as business capital, to have an emergency fund, to make sure that I felt at ease that I get to quit my full-time job before and do this business full-time. I remember with one of my clients during one of her sessions is that when she perceived that, looking at numbers, looking at my finances, it's so daunting and it's so overwhelming that I just don't want to do it. I just can't do it. And in the same way, she realized like that's also how she perceived her life. Like she was overwhelmed with the decisions that she made so far. She kept questioning, did I do things right? Did I make the right decisions at this stage in my life? But like literally an hour during one of our sessions when I helped her tailor fit and customize a financial system that is so simple, that is so easy to stick to, she's like, wow, ang dali lang pala. I was just overcomplicating it in my head when it could be this easy to follow. And then she's like, wow, because my financial system is so easy, now life gets to be so easy now. Seventh money lesson that I learned before turning 27 is money only amplifies what you already have. So let me explain, okay? Because the misconception that I also believed, okay, that I want you to not make the same mistake that I did, okay, is that when I finally have that income, if only I had 6 figures, if only I had that amount in my bank account, if only I got that increase, if only I could finally hit that industry benchmark in my salary, then I would be able to magically solve all of my life problems. We think that once we get the money, that's when we'll change. Can you hear me? Is that we think once we have the money in our hands, in our bank account, then that's only when our mindset will change. That's only when we become more grateful. That's only when we finally feel contentment. But no, that's the misconception, is that we don't wait for money until we change our mind. We don't wait until we have the money for us to decide that we can change our life for the better, that we can shift our mindset around money. Because I've seen it time and time again. I've been coaching clients from so many ranges of income. We don't change our habits as a result of receiving money that we have yet to have. Because I've coached clients who eventually had that income. They're like, you know what? My goal is like once I finally have that 6-figure income, then I'll finally be able to travel. Then I'll finally be independent. And then they realize they finally have the 6-figure income. And they're like, how come I still haven't saved? How come I still haven't prioritize the travel that I've always wanted? How come I'm still scared to finally take the leap to be independent and move out on my own? But the thing is, if you're already overwhelmed with handling your finances with like less the amount, if you're already overwhelmed with handling the income that you already have, don't expect that when you receive more, that you're suddenly going to handle it better. It doesn't work that way, right? As I've said, money only amplifies what you already have. Meaning, if you have the same scarcity mindset, If you have the same mindset that it's overwhelming to look at your finances, if you have the same mindset around money that when you look at numbers, you avoid it, if you have the same mindset that when you look at money, all you think about is giving to others but not for yourself, then if you receive more money, it's going to be the same. It's not going to magically going to change because you have more money. It's actually the opposite. It's going to be amplified, the same mindset that, what if all of this money runs out? What if I'm selfish if I suddenly go on the trip? What will my parents say? What will my relatives say? Is that, shouldn't I be giving more to them because I have more money now? So please don't make the same mistake, okay? That thinking that once you have more money, it will magically solve all of your mindset drama, all of your beliefs around money, that it's automatically going to be like, woof, I am complete, I am fixed. It's not like that. What I realized in my coaching training, in learning more about the language of the mind, the science of how our mindset works, is that not a single person in this earth is broken. None of us need fixing because all of us are whole. We're complete and whole. Okay, what do I mean by that? Is that we think that money is going to fix us. We think that money is going to change us for the better or rather for the worse, right? We think that once we receive that much money, then we get to finally fix the holes in our lives. Like when I had impulsive buying tendencies, when I was in the shopaholic phase in my life, when I was so scared of using my money because I just wanted to hoard money and scared of using it, I wasn't broken then. And when I also see my clients who feel like they are in the toxic cycle of toxic habits, I also don't see them as broken. What I learned from my training and understanding the mind is that none of us are broken. We are just unresourceful. We're just in a state of feeling unresourceful. It's just a matter of shifting our mindset to be more resourceful. Okay, so this is literally like the majority of what I help my clients with, is that when they realize, wow, I've always been capable all along. Kaya ko naman pala. This is the common thing that my clients say, like literally most of them say, kaya ko naman pala. Doable pala. Achievable pala. Like that is the common thing that they say. And then what happens? They shift a more resourceful state rather than I need fixing, I'm broken, I need to be complete. But the thing is, all of us, we're already complete. We just forget to be resourceful. We just forget that there are so many resources around us that we can use so that we get to step into the best version of ourselves. The best example for this, I remember when I was starting my business and I was like, but then I have no one. Like, how am I might fail if I don't have anyone to help me out, blah, 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 blah. And when I shift to a more resourceful mind, I realized like, I literally have an older sister who has a successful business. Why don't you ask her to be your mentor? And she would love to do it. I've always been close to my sister, and I said that she would gladly help me, of course. And then I realized when I said like, what if I fail? But what if I fail in this? If I start this? If I do it this way? I realized like there's literally a program, there's literally someone, a business coach that I've been following for so long that could help me start my business for so many years, and I forgot about it. But when I shifted to a more resourceful state, I realized the money that I have now is enough for me to fund that program that I could start so I could start my business. Literally, I had the same money, I had the same income. I just had to shift to a more resourceful state that allowed me to feel more capable, to feel more equipped, to feel more powerful, to feel more prepared that I could make my dreams happen. Like I just had, before I was shooting this video, I just had a client who messaged me and he realized that only when he shifted his mindset around his income, that's only when he realized that he's actually capable of getting promoted, of negotiating a better salary. Because at first he thought, his mindset was, pag na-promote, kailangan sumipsip. Pag nag-negotiate ng salary, ang kapal ng mukha. Diba? Like usually it's like that. Or like, in order to get to that higher post, then I need to suck up to people. And he said that I wouldn't have been able to get this, to realize that I could get this salary, to get this promotion if I didn't enroll in the program, if he didn't enroll in the coaching. Because this is when he just realized that he always had the same skills. He always had the resources to be capable of getting that promotion. He just needed to shift his mindset around that promotion. This is what I love coaching my clients on, is that they already feel a sense of excitement, kilig, fulfillment of how they're already handling their money, so that when they do receive more abundance, when they do receive a higher income, the excitement just gets amplified, because money only amplifies what you already have. Oftentimes, the question that I love asking them is that when they eventually end up maybe like talking to their boss about getting a promotion or getting a salary increase, or maybe when they end up like getting customers for their business, or when they start that business, I ask them, so what changed? What changed? Because they realize like it wasn't because I had more money. It wasn't because there's suddenly money in my bank account. Most of the time, there's not even. Okay? What they realized was like, it was really my mindset. It was really my attitude about what resources I already have and how I maximize it. That's what they realized changed. Their mindset, their outlook, their attitude towards money. And so when they do receive more money, when they receive more blessings, when they receive more abundance, that mindset only gets amplified. If you want to learn more about how your mindset around money is so powerful to make your dreams happen, to fund them into reality, then you can check out this video where I share my journey from the very start and where I am today, because I feel like you're gonna take a lot of tips and inspiration from it. So I will see you there.